Alright, so I got, for at least now, the last of like my power mods. Right now I'm running an intake exhaust aRacer with an AF2, DHM S1 cam, and I also, this paper here is from my DHM high compression piston. I did not make a video for the piston just because it's the first time I ever truly tore into the bike, and I wanted to make sure that I did it correctly, and like I didn't want to put any information out that was even a little off, because that could be catastrophic to your engine. And so far so good. I've only got like maybe 200 miles on it. I don't notice too much of a difference, but again, I'm still in the middle of auto tuning and everything. I threw an oil cooler on there too. I want to make sure that it stays cool, especially with the stronger piston. So with that though, I got CJR ported manifold and throttle body. So this is a 27 millimeter ported throttle body. So basically I think stock is 23 millimeter. I hear 28 millimeter is the biggest you can run on a stock bore. I could be wrong on that. 27 is the biggest that they offer though. Again, at least for stock bore. They do offer I think 30 and 33, but you need a big bore kit, I think they said. It wasn't going to work for my setup. This is a straight bolt on and go. I would not recommend running this unless you have like an aRacer. Maybe a flashed ECU. I don't know if you need to get a reflashed, so maybe I wouldn't not recommend it, but keep that in mind. I have an aRacer, I can auto tune, so I'm not worried about this because it will deliver more air. Technically, because the head's not ported, you should port the head too, but it's better than nothing. So again, this is port mesh to the throttle body, bolt seller, so you got CJR printed on it. That's cool, or engraved. I think it's laser etched actually. There's a gasket right on here. They give you another one. You got the sensor here. Now, something to keep in mind, because I didn't realize this until I was looking at it the other day, because I was going to throw this on with the piston. That's kind of like a better idea because it's already off, but I kind of wanted to see the difference everything makes. Like I kind of want to see what the piston did, and then I kind of want to see what this did, and you know what I mean? I was kind of like trying to test everything out. If you look the way this sits, my bracket here, alright, so my bracket here has to kind of go straight up, but the throttle body is going straight up. I believe this is the same throttle body as previous generations because they sit a little different. Like they kind of like lean out a little. I don't know. They told me you just got to switch this bracket around. I don't know if they reuse them. I don't know exactly what, but they said everything transfers right over. So I'm going to take this bracket off. I think it's just held on by that screw there. So I'm going to get the new one off. Or I'm going to get the original one off. Take this bracket off, swap the brackets over, any other sensors I need, bolt this together, and I'm going to put it on just as one piece. So I'm going to do all that, get the cables on, and then I also have a PCX150 injector. I'm probably going to do that around the same time because I already got this out. Injector sits right here, bolts here. The hardest thing is taking that hose off, but if you're doing the injector, you should take that off and put it on first or last because it's going to dump fuel out and you don't want fuel to get into the head, because the manifold's not going to be on. So I think it'd be smarter if you do that, like maybe stuff it with a rag, bolt this back up, or before you remove the stock one, I would take it off then, just in case. That's just like a thought that I'm having, so just something to keep in mind. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Alright, so I got a lot of shit going on here. I have my wideband wire in the way, that I could tuck out of the way. My ignition cable is kind of in the way, and the reservoir is kind of not really. Actually, that should be all right where it is. The biggest thing though that I have to deal with, that I wish I thought of, is my oil coolers right here. And between that and the valve cover, like this is gonna be a bitch for me to get to, because I used to just kind of stick my hand like through here and loosen everything. Because really, all it is. So you have the injector that's man, you can't see shit. Alright, so the injector, there's two bolts here, the ones I was showing you from before, like when it was, it's got the two mounting bolts there. Then the manifold has a bolt here, and then on the other side there's another bolt. That's all that holds the manifold on. Just got to pull this hose off. This is a little 8 millimeter for the cover, so we're going to take that cover off for the throttle cables. And then, I think it's a 10 millimeter. I'm pretty sure it's a 10 mil. I'm going to loosen the throttle cables, just pull them off out of the way. Try to remember which side goes to what. Like they should hold like their form kind of, so it should be easy to tell. I have a dinger built intake, so I have to break this lock nut free. I'm a little nervous about that because I actually broke one when I took the intake off this bike. My other one, it came off nice and easy, but this one it did break, so I'm hoping that comes off easy. And I think that's really all I gotta do. And then unplug any sensors. Alright, so there's going to be 3 plugs back here. I know I also have my vent line, so it's kind of killer at the moment. So there's going to be 3 plugs. There's TPS, I believe a map sensor, and then an injector plug. I'm going to unplug those. I'm going to take the intake off. I'm going to take the cables off, unbolt the injector, and then I'm going to unbolt the manifold. It's going to come off as one piece. There is a plate that goes from the manifold to the head. They give you a new one, though, so I'm going to use the new one. And then that really should be it. Like, I'm gonna have more shit. Like, I gotta move this line out of the way. Probably, I really can't. I'm gonna move the fairings. Obviously, I'm gonna get those both out of the way. And I'm hoping that my valve cover doesn't get in the way. If you're not running the oil cooler, it's way more open, but it is still tight. So yeah, I'm gonna unbolt all those, get this off as just one piece, and I'm gonna transfer everything over that I gotta transfer. Alright, so it is very straightforward. I know I did like everything off camera. It's exactly what I said. I just unplugged those. You have to, I don't know which one it is. I think it's the TPS sensor. I didn't really like look at them too much yet, but one of them is wrapped in tape. I just took a pick, cut that tape in half, pulled it over, and just unplugged it. So 2 sensors. The injector was here. I pulled that off the whole line. It looks like you can actually literally just hold this in place with the there's like a mid piece, like with a little tube on it. You can just pull the whole injector out, it looks like. I thought I had to actually unhook it. To unhook this though, you want to push the injector in. Then there's this little tab. You want to kind of like push down and in and try to pull it out. Don't pull too hard because you don't want to break it. You do need to give it a little bit of force, but that was a bitch and a half. I couldn't get it off my other bike. I didn't really know exactly how. It was a pain in the ass, but I got it off. So again, I'm going to put the PCX150 injector while I'm here. So you don't have to necessarily do that. That's more like I have other shit going on. Again, I have an aRacer. I would not touch the injector if you do not have an aRacer. I don't even know what flash these use. Maybe you can get in touch with CJR or DHM, whoever you're having flash it. Tell them you're going to run it. Maybe they can adjust some. But if you don't have an aRacer or a flash DCU ready for it, do not do the injector. You're going to do more harm than good. So anyway, I loosened up the intake, so I'm going to pop that off. What else did I do? Oh, so 2 10mm bolts on both sides, 2 10mm for the injector. I spent more time moving everything. As you can see, it's a catastrophe here. I got my my 2 to 5 harness here. I have it tucked away. My ignition wire. I got so much shit in the way. I moved my reservoir. If you don't have any of that, you'd have this off in like 10 minutes. What else did I do? Oh, the cables. I used a 10mm wrench and just kind of like got those off, moved those out of the side. That's really all there is to it. So now, here, let me try to get this out first with one hand. All right. There you go. The whole assembly is one piece. Like I said, I'm going to transfer everything. You can kind of see what I was talking about. See how like now it's straighter and this is more up and down as opposed to side to side. That was my first red flag, that I couldn't just bolt it right on. But again, I just got to transfer this over. Look how tiny this fucking thing is. Alright, so put that to the side. This is that plate I was telling you about. I believe it's just a spacer. I don't know the true purpose of it. You got a gasket on both sides, and it's got this little notch. I don't know the true purpose of that notch, but put it on the way it came. It looks like it only fits one way. Just something to be aware of. So I got a new one of these, new gaskets. I'm probably going to clean this off. You do want to put something in this because you don't want anything falling into the engine. So I'm going to put a little like a towel in there, maybe wipe these little crevices off. And yeah, I'll go assemble the new throttle body assembly and get this all bolted back up. Alright, so I wanted to kind of give you a closer comparison of what the stock one is as opposed to the ported. So again, it's a port match manifold with a 27mm ported throttle body. So I'm going to have to swap this bracket over, and then I'm also going to swap this sensor over. So all you need, what is this? This is a T25 Torx to get the sensor off. You need a Phillips head for the bracket, and then an 8mm for these 2 bolts. That's all that holds it together. I broke all of them loose just to kind of save some time. So also, like I said, I'm doing the injector. So this is a stock one. So this is how I took it off. I took it off with this part still attached. So I think what you can do, honestly, you can just kind of hold this. This is where the plug goes. Or well, it's like I forgot what they actually call them, but that line with the little like connector on it, it was on this part here. So really you could just pull the actual injector out. Again, fuel is going to come out, but it's not going to pour out. There's just whatever's in there, and then it stops it, so you don't have to worry about it going everywhere, but you have to catch that. So this is the stock one. It's a 6-hole. The new one's also a 6-hole, but it has a strong, I think they're bigger holes, stronger flow, something like that. So again, only do this if you have an aRacer or your bike can handle it. Otherwise, you're just going to be over fueling and it's going to just not work well. So I'm going to throw this back on, connect that again, bolt that on. So we're going to do that. Now, again, this was what came out, and this is your new one. If you look, this is actually ported also. Yeah, I guess you'd consider that. Yeah, it's matched. So that's matched to the manifold, so it'll help airflow a little bit better. What else? I got my gasket in there. Now, I'm almost positive they gave me new gaskets. The thing is I stash things places and I lose them. So I'm probably just going to reuse this gasket. I don't like that. I don't recommend that. Use the new ones that they give you. But I'm going to have to do that. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these sensors off. Or, well, this sensor off. Alright, so I got this one. Oh. Okay, there's a thing in there I didn't know about. That's cool. Alright, so how did this go? Alright, so you're going to have this little, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know exactly what this sensor is or does. I thought this was TPS. I guess that might be TPS. I don't know. Either way, it's going back on. Let me see. Alright, that looks good. Just make sure you get that in. Look at how it came out. The little spring goes on the bottom of it, if that helps, in case it just falls out and you miss it. So let's get that on. I don't know the torque specs to these. I'm just going to say tight. I know that these torques were significantly not as tight. The other ones were tighter than these, I should say. So I'm going to tighten everything down all at once. So there you go, sensors on. Now for this, again, I loosened everything. You have to just break these free. Take this bracket off. Mounts like that. It's tight. Let me actually do this. I don't like leaving things loose and say I'm going to come back to them because I tend to forget. That's as tight as I'm going. You don't want to do that. You don't want to like torque this down too much because you will break it. It's just plastic. So that's good. Throttle body's put together. Now all that I got to do is, let me see, do they give me new hardware? No, they don't. So get your 8mm, 2 bolts, bottom left, top right. So I'm going to take these off. So I know for a fact that they gave me one of these gaskets, but there's also one in there now. So I'm just going to run with that. Am I forgetting zone? No. Set it up. Just set these in there. Oops. There we go. Think that's starting? Yeah, it's starting. Again, I don't know what torque spec. Now, this is something that you definitely don't want to torque one side down and go to the other. So, like a lot of other things, you want to kind of snug them up at the same time. Just let it set evenly. That should be good. And there you go. It's assembled. Now, the injector. I'm not going to do the injector now, but how it's going to, there's a cap on this. Let me actually just pull these off. You already have the gasket on there, so you don't got to worry about that. This is going to sit right in there. And then, like I said, this piece here is going to go like that and bolt in. You got to press this in, so I'll probably do that now, actually. There you go. It's in. And that's really all there is to it. It's going to press in, and boom. And there you go. Ported manifold and throttle body put together. I'll probably just brush this off real quick, and you're good to go. Definitely try to keep the mating surface clean. Like I said, I have it on this paper just so it's not right on the wood. That's a big thing. And then I'm going to transfer these. I had to grab a pick. I'm going to transfer these gaskets over. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they gave me those. I know they gave me the one that goes in between these, but there's already one in there, like I said. I'm pretty sure they gave me these. I don't know. I might look around a little bit real quick, but I don't know. I'm going to look around, see if I can find them. If not, transfer them over, not the end of the world. And then it's going to sit just like that. I'm going to lay this down, put it over, get the bolts in, and then we're done. Then we just got to get the throttle cable on, and we're good to go. Put that off to the side. That little rag I got out. Now this is going to be a little tough. Alright, so I'm going to put that plate right there. Again, watch the injector. Just don't want it banging around. There's nothing to really hang it up on. So now I'm going to slide it in to my intake. Get that in position. Sick. Tight. Set it down on the plate. Now you might have to play with it a little bit. It's going to be hard, especially from this side for the opposite side. So let's get this just started. Yeah, see. I think I feel the threads. Alright, there we go. Let me get the other side. I know it's kind of hard to see. It's pretty tucked in there. I might have to run to the other side. Oh, there we go. Alright, so again, I'm just going to hand tighten that for now. Alright, so there we go. Those are in. Now, I'm going to set my injector. You want that to kind of pop in place. Then get your bolts. And these are what's going to actually hold it down. Now again, especially if you move this plastic piece, it helps significantly. The first time I did this, I didn't remove that, but I also didn't have the oil cooler here, which is honestly really getting in the way. Not as much as I thought it would. Oh, this is a 8. The bolts that hold the intake manifold and the injector are 10s. So let's get these down. I'm probably gonna wait to actually torque these down till after I torque the manifold down, so it has some, like, tension on it. Again, I know I don't really like doing that because I don't want to forget, but there's not that many bolts on this whole thing, so before I'm officially done, and there it goes, I'm probably gonna do a quick bolt check. Like I said, there's 2 that hold the manifold down. These I'm not too worried about, those are good, and then 2 that hold the injector down. All 4 are 10s. I mean, if you want to count the ones that hold the throttle body to the manifold, those are 8s. Alright, there we go. Alright, so yeah, so I am going to, let me see this. Like I said, I have the Dinger built intake. It uses the stock clamp. I posted a video on that. I tried to be like, as fast as I could with that one, just because it was a brand new intake. Should be coming out with some new ones soon. And that, like, you know what I mean, that was nice. It tucked right up there. Let me see here. What else are we gonna do? Yeah, I mean, that's really all there is to it. The Chimera one will probably get in the way a little bit, but you can easily just pull that out with everything. This was nice because I could leave it up there. Man in the box too, because that's going to be hanging from that bracket up here. So anyway, now I'm going to get these cables in. This is not that bad. Let's get that on. I lost my other cable. Just remember which one goes where. If you have to, you can grab the throttle cable and just pull it and see what's doing what. If you just need a quick refresher, like if you got them moved around. And there you go. So we're gonna. Alright, so I'm not going to bore you with just tightening down bolts. I'm going to tighten down the 2 10mm that hold the intake manifold down. Then I'm going to tighten down the 2 10mm bolts for the injector. I'm going to adjust my throttle cable, tighten down my intake clamp, and plug everything in. And then before I slap everything back together, like fairing wise, I'm going to start the bike and make sure that it runs okay and I have no leaks anywhere, especially a fuel leak. You want to make sure you have nothing there. You don't want that leaking at all, obviously. So yeah, I'm going to make sure I have no leaks. I'm going to set aRacer up for auto tune, and we're basically done. It's just a matter of putting the fairings back on. Alright, so it's all bolted up. It's good. I went for a ride. I have this cover off because I wanted to show you. I put this back on, the cables, how I took it off. But for some reason it was holding my throttle open about 15%. So what I did was I lowered both these nuts below the bracket, slipped it on, and then I tightened it up and adjusted it from there, and that lets it fully close and open. So what you want when you open it, I hope you can hear that, and then when you close it, you want to hear it smack when it opens and closes from the throttle body. So that's a good indication. So I'm going to throw the cover back on. Other than that, I did take it out for a ride, and I noticed that at low RPM it's not very happy. It kind of wants to die out. Like if I hit the throttle too hard, it wants to die, and taking off I got to give it like a lot more gas than usual, and I think that's because the injector. So I was speaking to Tomakatsu, and he said that he has his, I think he said he has his at like 57 for base fuel. Mine right now is 85, because I'm trying to like gradually lower it and like let it figure itself out, because otherwise you'll have it run too lean. So just, you got to really know what you're doing, and I'm still learning it myself. So I think it will be well worth it, but there definitely is a lot of tuning to do, and that's mostly because of the injector. But even if you do just the manifold and the throttle body, you do still need to tune it. So keep an eye out, because I'll be doing I'll be letting the auto tune on my aRacer run for a little while, and I'll try to get like a good map going, and then I'll try to do like a separate video where I update everyone on like a good map with the setup. Right, so keep an eye out for that, and hopefully it won't be too long.